Wow, there's been a lot of negativity around this whole Dynamaxing thing. I hope they don't reveal anything else that people hate. Shit! Welcome back to my explanation of everything that's wrong with the Pokemon community. Last time, we went over a brief history of every Pokemon generation's release and the criticisms that followed. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, click the eye icon in the top right corner of the screen. For other devices, link is in the description below. Today, we'll be talking about why the issues that fans are complaining about are happening. And later, we'll be looking at possible solutions that Game Freak can go with according to the community. First issue, adding all 809 previous Pokemon, including all the additional forms like Mega Evolutions, plus the new Galar Pokemon we've yet to see. At the time of writing this script, there are 17 Pokemon that have been revealed and or discovered in trailers. We can safely say that starters will have 2 evolutions each, bumping that up to 23 Galar Pokemon so far. This makes for 832 total Pokemon, plus Mega Evolutions, and other forms, with plenty more on the way. So, you want all the Pokemon in the game? Sure. Assuming that a single Pokemon with their sprite, model, and animations is an average of 10 megabytes, and there's about 900 total Pokemon after all the Galar Pokemon are revealed, that gives us 9,000 megabytes, or 0.9 gigabytes. That may seem small to you, but that's a big number in the context of Pokemon. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon were 3.6 gigabytes. That's literally 25% of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon in just Pokemon models, sprites, and animations. Meanwhile, you have college students making higher quality animations in literal hours, like this one by YouTube user The Big Daddy Gorilla. Since we don't know the file size for Sword and Shield yet, I can't determine how big or small this number is compared to anything else. What I can say is that a single Pokemon probably takes up a bit more or a bit less space than 10 megabytes. That was just an estimate. Second issue, the quality of the graphics. While I would say file size is a factor here, it's clear to me that there isn't as much of an excuse for the supposedly underwhelming visuals. An example that's been floating around the internet is this image here, which is supposed to be a hill with some kind of reference to a certain Pokemon in the grass. If you look just below that, you'll see that the trees at the bottom are completely flat. While this is a common practice in game development to save on space, it's unclear as to why they made such a compromise for an area that could be important to the story. While I would provide some kind of rationale to show that it's a lot of effort to include decent graphics, I feel like this goes without saying. Look at Breath of the Wild, consistently praised for showing the sheer amount of graphical prowess the Nintendo Switch demonstrates. This game clocks in at 14.3 gigabytes without the DLC, and 15.6 gigabytes with the expansion packs. While Sword and Shield are nowhere close to the scope of Breath of the Wild, it's plain to see that you could still have stunning visuals no matter what game you're developing, even regardless of file size. Therefore, if Sword and Shield end up being over, I guess, 8 gigabytes, or somewhere around that range, then that's where we start to ask some questions. Third issue. People dislike the lack of difficulty and linearity of the story. This is a trend I've noticed since X and Y. In Generation 6, we saw the difficulty go down drastically. I even remember this vividly as I know I beat the Elite Four with very little effort. likely due to the new fairy type being overpowered, and I spammed Moonblast whenever I could. In Generation 7, while the difficulty was slightly better, it still wasn't that hard to beat the game at all, and the story was overly predictable. Fourth issue. New features are terrible compared to others. A lot of people miss the concept of Mega Evolutions in X and Y, and how they didn't make a comeback in future generations except for a few in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Compared to Megas, people find the Z moves, Dynamaxing, and the newly announced Gigantamaxing to be lacking in effort, uninspired in a way. While we don't know too much about Dynamaxing yet, I think it's safe to say the negativity around the new concept isn't going anywhere. That's just a few complaints people had with the games. There's plenty more, but I would like to take a look at the other side, which is solutions that people suggest Game Freak take up. The first solution is to delay the games so they can be worked on for longer. For a while, I agreed with this. However, after reading an article on US Gamer about this whole controversy, I came across a small interview that really changed my opinion. This interview was with Joe Merrick, the webmaster behind Cerebi.net. When asked about delaying Sword and Shield, he said this: "To delay a game, you need to delay the anime and rush a new filler arc. You need to delay the card game and also fill the gaps. You need to delay merchandise and again fill the gaps." The last time they did this was in 2005 with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, but they had such a lead in on the delay they could work around it. Currently, the anime has Ash in the Alola League, and it appears that the anime might be coming to a close in the coming months for this region. I'd estimate by November, they'd start the Galar region anime promptly after Sword and Shield's release. That being said, there is no time to delay the games, or else they'll just have a gap they need to fill, and it would all be a huge mess on TPCI's end. Another solution people came up with is to add more Pokemon via patches. While I think this is a great idea, I'm not too sure that Game Freak would be too keen in doing so. In a Famitsu interview, Masuda and Omori stated, "There is currently no decision to bring the existing Pokemon that can't be in Sword and Shield back into the game using patches. But those that don't will still have an active role in Pokemon Home." What this means for us is that they still haven't decided whether they want to add more Pokemon via patches and updates later down the road. Even if they eventually choose not to do so, they intend for the excluded Pokemon to have some kind of role or functionality in Pokemon Home, a cloud-based Pokemon storage service. What they mean by active role in Pokemon Home, we don't know yet. However, I'm afraid this won't be the most popular decision if they go with it, especially since we apparently don't know everything Pokemon Home is capable of. The point I'm trying to drive home here is Game Freak is giving mixed signals to us, the players. And that's resulting in conflict after conflict, to the point where the fanbase doesn't even know how to react, so we're taking our confused anger out on the creators. At least that's how I'm seeing the entire situation. I could very well be wrong on my take on this. One thing I know for sure is that this controversy isn't as justified as people think, and that there's a deeper meaning, a bigger reason even, as to why all of this is even happening. Something that may or may not even be in Game Freak's control in the first place. It could very well be that the Pokemon Company International has something to do with the restrictions of Sword and Shield. That's a huge stretch, I know, but it's still something to consider. Thanks for watching my No National Dex miniseries. Not gonna lie, this was actually a little bit fun to make, but I can't take all the credit. Shoutouts to all the names on screen for either replying to my post on r/Pokemon or just looking over my script for accuracy. This video wouldn't have nearly as much content as it does without these people. If you want to see more videos like this, leave a comment down below, as that's how I can best understand how the community feels about my content. If you're feeling extra generous today, feel free to hit the subscribe button with the notifications on so you can be notified when I upload next. See you next time. I've got to go pre-order Pokemon Sword, because unlike the Dexits, I actually play Pokemon games for entertainment and don't focus on graphics and lack of animations.